Honda SL350 twin in the candy blue. This is a 1970 model. This one's an absolute stunner. It's been completely restored. Runs great. Electrical functions work as they should. Factory reflectors are present. These bikes didn't come stock with turn signals, so the headlight and the running and brake light on the rear is standard. This is the factory Honda Chrisman spark arrestor. Complete original exhaust system. And a newer set of DOT period correct tread tires. What a beauty.
What's happening, guys? Ken Kaplan from the New England Motorcycle Museum, and this is a classic 1970 Honda SL350. And take a close look at the pictures, take a close look at the video, and you can clearly see this is a frame-off restoration, a nut and bolt restoration by Mac from Pennsylvania, who had a nice collection of Hondas that he sold us recently. And he told me it took him about 3 months to do this, which sounds about right. Somewhere in the area of a minimum of 150 hours labor was put into this bike to take it right down to the frame. And he showed me the process. You can see one of our previous videos. He takes them right down to the frame, sandblasts the frames, paints them the correct Honda color frame, and then does a nut and bolt restoration from the bottom up. Let's bring it inside where it's a little warmer out, and we'll go over all the nuts and bolts and info on this bike. So come on in. Want to do a walk around, or?
I already did.
The high beam button works, the neutral button works, high beam, neutral, the rear brake light works, both the rear brake light switch and the front brake light switch. You know, we've done a lot of restorations here in the museum on classic Honda SLs like this one here, and XLs and XRs. And I gotta say, this one trumps most of, if not all, the ones we've done. The concept of doing a nut and bolt restoration, taking it right down to the frame rather than an in-frame, opens up a whole nother level of commitment and time to creating something that's absolutely a labor of love. That's what Max said. He said it was a labor of love because he lost money when he sold it, and there's no way on God's green earth you could pay a shop what it would cost to build this bike and have it be worth more than that, because at 150 hours you're looking at $15,000 worth of labor to do a frame off. So people generally just don't do it unless they're doing it themselves as a labor of love like he did. Max, 61 years old. It's a hobby of his. He's restored dozens of these SLs. He specializes in the SL, so he's got it down to a science. And if you look, starting at the wheels, the rims have been carefully restored, brand new tires and tubes. The forks have been repainted. The chrome on the forks is in good condition. The original metal fender support is in mint shape, as are the original fenders. The headlight bucket, the tack and speedo look to be in like new condition. The handlebars and mirrors are new, as are the levers and grips. Paint job's brand new. You're looking at $1,000 for a paint job like this. Matter of fact, that's what he said. He bought this tin set for $1,000 done. We outsource our tin sets, and generally a bike like this would cost somewhere around $700 to get done without the tins. So the badges are in beautiful shape. The inside of the tank is in good condition, as are the rest of the bike. The tank's been bicarbonate sodium blasted and resealed, so it's in excellent condition, as is the latch for the tank. The seat looks to be brand new because it is. It's a brand new reproduction seat. The rear fender, rear tail lights in great shape. Electrically, the bike's at 10. Now, when you do a frame-off restoration, the entire wiring harness has to come off of it. So the entire wiring harness has been completely rebuilt on this bike, as has the carburetors, the airbox. The engine was sandblasted, primed, and painted the original Honda colors. The exhaust system on these, which is very difficult to find an exhaust system that's in this kind of shape. Take a close-up look at this pipe here, Kenny. This thing's beautiful. These pipes, a reproduction set costs around $2,000. Excuse me, $975. And a good used set of these are bringing around $2,000, about twice what a reproduction set would cost, because they're very difficult to come by, and most of them got wrecked and ruined. This is a 1970 model. The manufacturer's date, as you can see right here on the steering head, January of 1970. The 1970 model was a big improvement over the 69. The 69 was basically a CB with an up fender and high pipes. This is a totally redesigned motor. It's about 60 pounds lighter than the 1969 model. How did they do that? Well, they changed a bunch of things on it. They actually put the a different frame together, different front fender braces, did a lot of things to lighten it. So Mac, when he had the bike apart, he upgraded the engine to the CL model engine, which has the electric starter. So moving down from the seat, the bars, the tack, everything's in beautiful shape. You'll see the frame is in stunning condition. It has the upgraded motor, the CL motor with electric start, which makes it sure a lot easier if you're an old timer and you don't want to kick it. Shocks are in beautiful shape. New chains and sprockets, new rear tire, new tube, everything on that. When I say a nut and bolt restoration, every single nut and bolt, the pegs are like brand new, the shifter's like brand new, the engine covers, just a stunning piece. And even if a shop did it, let's say that the shop charges $90 an hour for labor, it's going to cost them $45 an hour labor, you know, between the overhead and the employee, you know, the lights, keeping the lights, electricity on, everything else. Usually shops double their cost to about $90 or $100 an hour. 150 hours labor is going to still run you $7,500. It's going to cost a shop close to $9 grand to do a frame off on this bike. How do I know? Well, we just did an RD 400 from the ground up like this one, and it cost us $9 grand. So it's a very time-consuming, labor-intensive process. This one's completely done. It has a couple of imperfections on it. I'm going to point out. Mac was running ethanol fuel in it, so the carburetors the pilot jets aren't perfectly clean, so it stutters a little bit off idle. But once you're on the main jet, it runs beautifully. That's because he ran ethanol pump gas in it, and of course, after a year or two, this bike was a frame-off restoration. Was completed about 3 years ago, but the carbs are now going to need a little tune-up. So. And come around this side of the gas tank, the gas tank, he had, when he had bicarbonate sodium blasted the tank, after he had painted it and put gas in, a little pinhole developed right here. So he used a epoxy on there, and he didn't have any more of this color paint because he had bought the tin set and someone else had painted it. So he put this blue tape over it to match it. But if you wanted to bring it to a body shop and have them match the paint, you could put a little touch up on there rather than the tape covering the epoxy that's on there. So those are the only really shortfalls I see on the bike. Tires, chains and sprockets, levers, everything else is either brand new or in perfect condition. So the nicest 350 we've had through the shop for sure. If you have any questions about it, give us a call at 860-454-7024. This thing's ready to hop on and ride to the beach or take it to Mid-Ohio and zoom around the pits with us. We'll be there. So if you have any questions, call us. Good luck bidding on it, and God bless America.